Shelley Winter Show. Live, local, topical, relevant, unique, fearless. We're all that on this show. So let me give you, I want to take you through a little inside baseball about radio, right? And I'm sure many of you know this, but a lot of people, we don't really talk about it a lot. So the way this business works is that I talk every night, 7 to 9 p.m. on this great station, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then you listen, and it's my job to get as many of you to listen, right? That's why I love going out and about. That's why I love meeting listeners and getting out in the community and doing the things that I do, so I can gather as many listeners as I possibly can to listen to this station and this show. So once I do that, we have a whole department that goes around and speaks to businesses, large, small, medium size, and everything in between. And they say, hey, 95.5 WSB is a great station. They have a great audience. And sometimes those people that are in that department, the marketing department, they'll say Shelley Winter is on in the evenings. He's got a great show, and he's got a lot of people who are listening. And then those small businesses, medium-sized businesses, large businesses, they will say, hey, yeah, we love Shelley Winter. We want to sponsor his show. And then that's basically how it works. And that's how I'm able to pay my bills. Magic Mike's able to pay his. And that's kind of the way this business works. Today I had the opportunity to meet a couple. Damon, one of our marketing guys, shout out to Damon. He said, I've got a business that is interested in your show. And so he said, I've got a meeting with them today. Would you meet me there? And I said, of course. I get out there. It's a great meeting. The business is RJ's Auto Parts Plus, right out there off of Cobb Parkway. But I'm not here to tell that story. I'm here to tell you something that I heard in the meeting from Mr. RJ. And I'm going to tell you, fellas, you're going to feel the way I feel when you hear what I'm about to say. First of all, they've got a great business. RJ's Auto Parts Plus. We'll talk. Hopefully, they'll become a sponsor of the show, and you'll hear me talking about them all the time, like Butler and D. Geller and stuff like that. But let me tell you this story. He's married to Edith. That's his wife. They own the company together. So in this meeting, we're talking, and I asked him, I said, how long have you guys been married? And RJ said, 40 years. I said, wow, that's great. That's wonderful. And he made a statement. He said, and we work together. Right? She's right there in the office. Every time someone came in the door, she'd step out the meeting. When I came in and a little bell rang because someone was coming in, she came and gave her a big hug, introduced myself. And I said, how is that to work together? You're married 40 years. You see each other all day long at work. How is that? This man said the most loving thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And I wanted to tell this story because I wanted to tell the love story. Okay? RJ said in this meeting, he said, we are better when we're together. It's when we're apart when we don't feel right. I thought it was the most lovingest thing I've ever heard in my life. And as someone that is really, I'm a softie. You know what I mean? I'm one of these, I'm looking for the love. Oh, I want to feel that. I hear so much today where, I have friends that are married and they're in relationships and they say, oh man, Shell, what you doing? I got to get away from the wife. I got to get away from my husband. Oh, even in my, whatever you want to call we are today, it's the same thing. Oh, babe, go ahead. I'll talk to you next week. You know what I mean? It's just, we want the separation. These guys need the togetherness. And it was the most loving thing I'd ever heard in my entire life. He said, we're better when we're together. And of course, in the office, they may go back and forth and things like that. But could you imagine working in a place like that where two people are married 40 years and they get along great and they're not at each other's throats and they're wonderful and they work together and you work there as an employee and you're seeing that? I would go home jealous every single night. Why can't I find that? Why can't I find 40 years of love? Have a business together, grow the business together, run the business together, leave work in the same car, get to work, have offices next to each other, work all day, make money, have a good life with the same person. I don't know. I just had to tell everyone that story. Shout out to RJ and Edith. I appreciate your time this afternoon. And to hear RJ said, we are better together, just speaks volumes to me. They own a small business, RJ's Auto Parts Plus. And what struck me in our meeting was when he said, I said, how do you do it? You work together? You've been married 40 years? And he said, we're better together. I just thought that was amazing. It's a Shelley Winter Show. We'll be right back. 448-720-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Guess who's running for Senate in Texas? That's coming up next.